I absolutely can't believe I'm getting I in haste. I knew better than to go on ChatGPT and make an image to react to a tweet. I knew
That tweet
better than
blew
to
up.
do that because I was at the dog park, and then I was just like, and then it got and I was like, please don't let this get any traction, and then it got it's got 1,300 likes, and I was
It
like,
blew up.
of course. But to explain the 6-7 thing to the best of my understanding, it
Hmm.
started last year, and
Hmm.
there's some rapper that's a Chicago rapper, and that 6-7 I guess was an ad lib that he had, somewhat like Jeezy's like ha ha. And what 6-7 signifies is in those terms is 6 foot deep, 7 feet apart. Is you burying them in a mass grave, I guess, is what his ops that he's killing, that he's hitting with
That's dark.
what did I find out about the other day? 300 black shot or whatever it was called, whatever they killed Julio Fulio with.
300 blackout.
Blackout, yeah. And I was like, that even sounds sinister. So anyway, and then I guess because it was one of those things that makes your brain tingle when he first started doing it, because my homeboy was just texting it to me all the time, and he's 30 plus years old, you know what I
Mm.
mean? And I was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so
So where's
and
the
I
full
guess
time job
and
ones?
yeah, I guess it just progressed to like some I don't mean to be racist, but this is what it is. Like some white kid on the internet like picked it up and was like 6-7 or whatever. Like, and then he kind of, you remember back in the day they had Matty B Raps. You know what I mean? You
Yes.
remember back? Okay, so this he like Matty B Raps did basically or whatever, right? And so then like all the kids started saying it. So I don't know. But yeah, so
So it's as stupid as I thought it was.
it's the origins of it are not fantastic. So
I mean,
um
I appreciate the walkthrough. This is the most thorough walkthrough I've gotten, and you saved me from having to Google it. But I'm none more satisfied
yeah, I
now
mean
knowing what
it's
it's about. Like my
well, and the annoying part though is that like people like don't get it right where it came from, and it's like, well, no, it didn't come from just this kid saying it. It came from
The
you know
song
from the song, yeah, and then
yeah.
from
and it just
Chicago Wind.
right, yeah,
Hmm.
you know,
Where's Jamal when you
um,
need him?
yeah, yeah, about that. Um, no, I mean I wasn't saying nothing, so it was just
At least I'm glad to know where it comes from. So I'm
So
tired of
we
being accosted by the youth yelling 6-7 at me.
Dude, getting old is not fun because like this is gonna be more and more frequent. Where I'm just at least
No, they're
most
out
of
of
the time
touch.
I can, yeah, at least most of the time I can get the context clues for something and I can sort of get an idea
Our
of like,
stuff made sense. Suck it. These nuts. Got him. Damn, Daniel. Like all of our little quips were,
I
they were
mean,
funny.
I saw a TikTok the other day that was to your point, Jared, but it made me feel so cringe. I couldn't be mad about it because it was like, and I'm sure you may have seen it. It was like some video where like the guy was like, "These kids' music today," and it was just, and it was I forgot what the artist was or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And then it was like music in my day, and this dude was listening to like Tupac on like a Walkman, and I was like, "All right, brother, okay, I cause like like we like to pretend like, like 15, 20 years ago, like we were like way cooler and degenerates. But I remember, I remember people, we're off topic here, but it's fine. I remember folks, and for our less melanated listeners, y'all don't never remember this phenomenon. I remember people would get their Christmas money and they would go to the mall and you would get the 2 for 20 stunner shades,
Man,
right? You would get the feelers with the strap for $50.
man.
You would get the $20 LED fake diamond belt that you had to do the cell phone kiosk guy. He programmed your name in the belt,
Talk about it.
and then you wore the tall tee behind the belt buckle.
Mm.
And then even some cats, if they was real had money, they went and got fake grills, and they had names on MySpace like like Jay So Icy Forever Young Day or something like that. It
Mm,
was crazy. I mean, like I said, we were no better as a society.
what a time to
Um,
be alive.
yeah, the MFG jeans, the Carmelos. I had like 4 pairs of Carmelos.
All the colors, baby. All the
Oh
colors.
my God, bro! What a great sneaker. So accessible, so many different colors, so cheap. Well, it wasn't cheap, but it was better
It's
than
comfortable.
in that time it was better in my opinion than Jordans. If Carmelos came back today, I would wear Carmelos.
That's fair.
Yeah, Peyton doesn't know what we're talking about. I'm not even looking at Peyton's face right now, but I can tell that he's lost.
Do you know who Carmelo Anthony is? Peyton?
Yes, I know who Carmelo Anthony is. He used to be married to oh gosh, what was her name?
Lala.
Yeah, Lala. And he played a little ball for New York and Denver and Syracuse.
And
Remember?
Oklahoma City.
But I know nothing about them shoes.
Yeah, he it was what was it? Were they mid tops? They were
Yeah, they were
mid
Mills.
tops, and then the tongue and the heel came in different colors,
Hmm.
I think. And I remember my boy had a pair of camo ones, and I was like, "That's the coldest shit I ever seen in my life." Camo was real big back then too. I remember that. I had a pair of camo forces I got off my one of my white uncles that I got beat up for. So,
Damn.
well, jokes on them because they was fake anyway. So
Oh, that's
you
terrible.
know, yeah, you got suspended over some fake shoes, buddy. And I got them back anyway, and still, so it didn't matter. But I don't care. I don't care about this episode. You can already tell. I'm over this. I'm over the sport. I I've been looking all day for the graphic from NBC where it's like "See you in Daytona." I've been looking all day for it. I can't find it because I just want to plaster that on this episode on my camera and then just not say anything for the whole
Oh
episode.
no, baby.
Yeah,
We gonna
we can get Bonte in here and just let him talk for an hour by himself. Honestly,
we got some friends in here, so
I got you. We'll get it started.
we can
I
get the
apologize to any friends of the
party
show.
started. No, you all
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Are we live?
We are live.
Jeez.
Thank you for your riveting stories, though. It's given me an opportunity to make sure that Art gets to speak his piece, but we'll get to that in a second.
Oh yeah, I forgot about.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a season-ending episode of Victory Lane Vibes. You know how we normally do it. We do it live, and the decision was made. The adult left us alone, so we're doing it live. It's Jared, it's Carl, it's Peyton. We're here after Phoenix, where some champions were crowned. So yeah, let's get it going. I'm waiting for Art's. He left us a soliloquy as his season parting gift. So I'm waiting for CapCut to do that. So while that's cooking, did anything explosive happen before the race weekend? We didn't touch on it last week, even though Carl blurted out the week before. But it was confirmed that Daniel Suarez is going to the 7 for Spire Motorsports after accosting his future teammate Carson Hocevar the last 2 weeks. I know you gave a good bit of insight on that move. Carl, is there anything you wanted to add to it since the news has now been officially broken?
What about was it about Suarez?
Suarez, yeah.
I mean, to me, it just feels like a lateral move. I just feel like Spire has stalled out. I saw a really interesting opinion today about somebody said, can anybody outside of the top 3 teams win races and championships regularly? And you know what? Honestly, I don't think that they can. I think that Penske, Hendrick, and Gibbs kind of have it locked down from the engineering standpoint, and just that because of, or no, maybe it was the way. I'm sorry, it was Brad tweeted yesterday. That's what it was about how like with the way the OEM rules are now, like only the big 3 teams can win, and so like. Everybody thought Spire was a new kid on the block. I think Carson Hocevar is a special talent, but I don't think Spire has the makings to like really rise above Trackhouse and give Daniel anything more than what he already has. So, yeah, I mean, I will tell you though this. I was a bit surprised with Justin Haley going to the college truck program. I was kind of holding out hope that he landed. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I was really holding out hope he landed at Alpha Prime because I had heard that Res Class was leaving, and I know that that seems like a downgrade, but I think that those two would have really helped one another. And I was hoping they had because that team needs like a cup, a not a failed cup talent, but a cup s talent to go down there, and I think help them get to the next level. And anyway, so we'll see how the truck deal goes to college next year. I'm already really annoyed by all the Ram branding and all that good stuff, but uh, you know, um, yeah, I mean, we'll see what next year holds. I don't think this is I don't think this is going to be a long fruitful relationship with
Hey
him. I don't
guys, long time listener, first time call.
Sorry.
damn. How dare he steal my bit too? How dare he steal the bit I've done like three different times now? Even an ocean away. I don't even know what time it is in his part of the world right now. But Art continues to just rain on my parade. Anyway, that's yeah. So
You
we
should be
can go on to
watching Prices Right around this time, according to my
yeah.
clock. Yeah, we'll just dive right into it. So, Art left us a message since he's not here this week to record with you guys. So we'll listen to see what he has to say, and I guess we'll react to that, and then we'll jump into the show.
Hey guys, long time listener, first time caller. Wanted to drop by and give some thoughts since I can't make it to the live show on this Phoenix weekend and just the season on a whole. I'm pretty deflated. I think this is kind of the ending that NASCAR deserves. Uh, we were told that winning mattered and that the driver with the most wins, they should be the champion and being clutch. And, the season's over now when the driver with the most wins in the top two series didn't win it. You start with the weekend with Trucks and Corey Heim winning it. And that was definitely the right ending. I think everyone agrees, even though it took a seven wide pass to make it happen, but fine, whatever. And, I just wonder how smug do you think NASCAR brass really was Friday night after that? I'm sure they thought everything would go pretty smoothly, but you get to Saturday, and with Xfinity, I think it's just such a joke that Connor isn't the champion, right? Having the most dominant season in Xfinity history and nothing to show for it. It's so disappointing. I think it would hurt more if it wasn't Connor, though, just because. I think his future is so bright, and he already has a full-time Cup ride next year, and he could honestly, he's one of the few drivers who's bigger than NASCAR, and he could go to any series and be successful. So I'm excited for him. I think his future's just so bright that this hurts now, but he's got so much more ahead of him. I think for Jesse Love, this will be his career peak. And then you get to Sunday, and I mean, there's just no way around it. Chris Gale really let his driver down. I mean, when you go back to the caution, right? 40 seconds, 45 seconds away from clinching a title, and they lose it to a guy who hasn't won since May. I mean, just absolutely gutted. I didn't watch a ton of the live broadcast, but it seemed like, from what I was told and what the Thailand said, they were really hammering home the story about Denny's dad, which is kind of gross. It feels
A
kind of
little bit.
tasteless to
Yeah, a
to
little
touch on it
bit.
that much, but. Uh, just to not be able to get that done and to close it out there. I mean, this is really the worst possible outcome, I think, for Denny. You'd rather blow a tire lap one and DNF than have it go like this. And they had all those things they came back from just to not be able to close it out. And they did everything right up until that final pit stop call. Um, it's just heartbreaking. I mean, Larson is a very talented driver, obviously, scored a bunch of points this year. But I think when it comes down to this playoff debate and debacle, it's really a matter of how the title is won just as much as who it is, right? Like, yes, on paper, Larson had a great season, ton of points, several wins, but how he won it at the end is just going to live a major stink, I think, for everyone. And I see the Ryan McGee's and the Jordan Bianchis out here complaining and saying how this is what we want. We want better storylines and more drama. And I'm just starting to think that maybe these reporters just want playoffs because it's easier for them. Maybe it's easier for them to write for. But if you look at every important metric across the board, like ratings have gone down and continue to go down. Fan interest has gone down, continues to go down. I think you just have to give the sport a legitimate champion, a legitimate format, and just accept that. Like the Super Bowl is a blowout some years. Like it's fine. Every Super Bowl is a walk-off game-winning field goal. That's okay. They if they do anything other than a full point season format, I find it really hard for me to watch full time, especially after how this season went, and how the final went. If they do this 3-3-4 mess, there's no way I could watch every week. I know Bubba had a rough day. I saw he had some issues. So I'm sure 2311 corner will be quick and painless,
God, these
hopefully.
first time
But
callers
that's about all I had. Just wanted to call in and wish you guys good luck with the rest of the show. I hate that I'm
full
missing
of
it
hot
live,
air.
but we'll be back in a month for the off-season content. So I'm sure you guys will
Says
crush it.
who?
And just one last thing, while I'm here on vacation and in a foreign land, I was wearing the podcast shirt, and when I was going through customs, they stopped me and they asked me about a sales guy and a truck driver. And they pulled me into the room for some additional questioning. I wasn't really sure about that was about, but
Yeah, I'm
I'm
very
sure it's fine. Nothing for you
yeah.
guys to worry
My
about.
my
So
my plan is
anyway, that's all I
working.
got. You guys have a great time with the rest of the show, and we'll see you.
You are not coming back. We're packing up that apartment and diecast collection as you speak, brother. I'm leaving you stranded over
Yeah,
there.
I'm running that
I
Chumba
didn't, I didn't, I
Casino
didn't went and
sheet
told
metal,
I
brother.
didn't went and told the embassy you was googling how to find plutonium, brother. You were out of there, my man. I'm telling you. I told him you were looking up maps of current U.S. freight railroads, brother. You're not coming home ever.
You're stuck.
Yeah, you leave me here to do this when I had better things to do on this Monday night, like watch a movie I've already seen 6 times. Anyway, I
Which
miss you, Art.
which movie would it
We're
be
we're
from?
we're trying to get through 3 billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. You know, so because I got it on
That's right.
Blu-ray. Yeah, it's a great
Mm.
movie. Yeah.
So yeah, we can just dive right into the show then. Thank you, Art. Hope you're enjoying your time away. And he's right. After this, we taking a smooth 5 weeks off before we do the report card episodes. But let's recap the weekend then. The truck race was Friday night. Similar thing. We're at the edge of our seat. There's a late caution. Everybody's cussing Scott Zipadelli up and down. Why'd you take 4 tires? Why'd you take 4 tires? Explicative. And then a video game move was pulled. Corey Heim retakes the lead and he wins the truck championship. It kind of, I feel like this, of all the championship winning moments, it kind of sucks for Corey because we don't know what his 2026 season is going to look like. Because a lot of that is hinged upon the lawsuit. But Peyton, tell us about the truck race. What were your thoughts, feeling, opinions after looking back and watching it?
I feel like the actual race itself was okay. Wasn't extraordinary. Wasn't terrible. I still can't wrap my head around why that track just produces such lackluster racing, because it's as wide as like I-20. It's literally the widest place out there. Nothing's off limits. I don't know if maybe it's the fact that it's all just low banked and it's not a variable banking, but such a strange deal. The biggest redeeming moment of that race was the 7 wide. I did not think that truck series drivers could pull that off without causing at least, I don't know, 3 to 4 fatalities. So congratulations on them to actually emerging out of the other end to see that happen. I did not think the 4 tires would work unless they got multiple restarts. They ended up getting, I believe, 1 restart off it. Or no, he didn't get cleared. No, I think they had a restart come up once he'd gotten up to second or first and was able to clear off from there. So ended up working to perfection. I just don't know whether the Cup Series garage might have taken too close a note, thinking that they could replicate that. But yeah, glad that he was able to secure that championship, because I would say among any of the series, he was the most deserving of the title. I mean, all the drivers who were in contention definitely were deserving in the other series, but none more so than Corey Heim, because it looks like Michael Jordan going and playing college ball as, coming off his third title with the Chicago Bulls. Like the dude doesn't need to be there. So yeah, glad NASCAR managed not to screw that one up. But otherwise, I thought the race itself was relatively mundane. But yeah.
What say you, Carl? How was the truck race for you?
Yeah, it was straight. I don't know, man. No, it was cool. I was actually very impressed with how racy Honeycutt was. I know that some other people have some negative feelings towards the guy. I was just impressed with him being able to jump in the Stewart truck these last couple of weeks, and there were some times where like it looked like if it fell just the right way, like he, I don't know, man. Like I said, you never know. And Tyler Ankrum was just out to lunch all day. I mean, I don't know what that deal was about. I mean, it was a standard Truck Series racing. I just, man, I went into this weekend expecting a late race caution to change the outcome of all three races. In essence, it did. In a way, because there wasn't one on Saturday where there probably should have been one, or maybe not should have been one. I don't know, but I feel like that they tried to get us ready for disappointment Friday night, and it just so happened that Corey Heim, was him, right? Was able to get that back. Like I said, I mean that was a bad call by Scott Zipadelli, and I don't know if we're gonna like ever get into like discussion of this format or anything like that, like overall. And I don't want to get too off in the weeds here, but it was just like, man, you know what I mean? Like come on, dude. You know what I mean? Like I said, and even like that close of a call, I was like, I'm killing any notion that the 88 and 11, of course, in the cup was kind of a different story because there really wasn't one clear favorite among the rest. I don't think, but that's a different story. But anyway, I thought it was all right. I'm glad Corey Heim won. I know that Denny lost yesterday, but I hope he wins the bigger battle this coming December, because in relation to Corey Heim, a guy should not win 11 races in a year in the Truck Series and not have a full-time ride the following year. I mean, it just shouldn't happen. So, and hopefully if Denny wins, they're able to, allocate the correct amount of money or whatever to bring Corey to Cup or whatever they got to do on that deal, whatever. And I've got another question about that when we get to the Sunday discussion anyway, because I forgot something. But anyway, so that was how truck race was all right. Glad Corey Heim won it. So.
Yeah, it was cool. Good to see. I wish Raj could have capped off his truck career as it seems with a dub, but he had a great finish. Excited to see what he does next year in Xfinity. But I mean, all in all, I'm kind of still excited for trucks next year. Just because with all the colleague hubbub, I'm actually kind of excited to see what they do. I feel like it's they're doing some moving and shaking. It sounds like McNally's doing some moving and shaking. So I don't think trucks will be less entertaining next year. Trucks will always be trucks, but I'm still looking forward to what happens next year, because there's still a lot of parts and pieces moving to at least one series that NASCAR holds, get some ratings and some attention grabbing headlines. Moving to Saturday's race, thankfully, by the grace of God, Connor Zilisch wins the Rookie of the Year for Xfinity. I would have broken everything in this house if he lost the championship and Rookie of the Year. But Jesse Love wins the wins the Xfinity Championship. This episode, I remembered. Thank you, Peyton. This episode is going to be called "Shilling for Sheldon 2026." When we post this too, we post this out. I have to keep that. He had a really competitive car Saturday night too. He still couldn't get one, but
they're going to unlock his potential. Like he's going to go. He's going to go on a run that's going to be phenomenal. It may not be next year, or the year after that, but at some point in the future, the dream's going to be realized.
I feel it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us, Peyton. What'd you think of the experience?
I feel like for the on track product, I liked it as the best race of the weekend. It seemed like you had really good short run cars versus long run cars. So Connor Zilisch, his car was a quite good short run car, could really sort of run away or build up a decent gap, and then he would get tracked back down. It seemed like just a bit more variability. Still, for Xfinity Series, relatively mediocre in terms of the show that they're capable of putting on. But for Phoenix, I would say above average. In terms of how it all played out for the championship, yeah, this is what NASCAR did not want if they were trying to show that their current system is legitimate. And it didn't even feel fun from like what an interesting story standpoint, like, oh, what tension. Jesse Love just had a better car and drove away from him. So you didn't even get this whole like, oh, what's it going to come down to? I feel like the whole Game 7 tension really only works in an instance like we saw in the Cup race or something like the truck race where you see something extraordinary or something gut-wrenching happen. This was just a dude who had a faster car, and even though he hadn't won since February, he's now rewarded as a champion. And it's not to say that Jesse Love had a bad season. I will say this. I saw some people saying that, oh, well, Jesse Love had the second best average finishing number. What they didn't say is what was his average finish in relation to Connor Zilisch. I'll tell you what it was. It was about 4 spots different. So it's not even though that he was nipping at his heels and, in any other format that isn't a complete joke, would he have been close? No. It was still a massive gap between Connor Zilisch and Jesse Love. So, yeah, frustrating because, there's no way that anyone who knows wheel can tell me, hey, who is the best driver in 2025? That it's not going to be Jesse Love. So, congrats to NASCAR, great format, and unfortunately, that's overshadowed this entire weekend. So, but on track wise, best race of the weekend, in my opinion.
Carl.
Yes, Xfinity.
Then you get to have fun.
Yeah, no, man. I mean, again, same thing. It's hard to talk about the race and not talk about this format, right? I mean, it's so unfortunate because I mean, like, well, we'll get to the Cup race, but I mean, it was all right. I mean, I guess I just, it was just one of those deals where, the two just magically managed to find speed, and the 88 just didn't have it, and and then lost in all of this is somehow like Joe Gibbs was celebrating like that they won the owners championship, which is like, I mean, who really cares about that, man? Which is crazy that Junior didn't win that either, but yeah, I mean, I have a lot to say about it. I mean, I have not seen a ton out of Jesse Love that really makes me like think that he's going to like skyrocket. But I think honestly, we go into next year without Connor Zilisch in the Xfinity Series. I mean, the guy won 10 races on the year. I mean, he won nearly a third of the races of the year. So, maybe we'll see more out of him, and I'll rethink it. But I don't know, man. Again, it kind of, to me, it kind of felt like 2020 all over again, or 21. Was it 20 or 21 that Hemrick did that deal? I guess it had to have been
It had to have been
20. It had to have been 21 because it was
Yeah.
Cindric's last season in Xfinity.
right.
So yeah, it was 21 then. So, yeah, man. I mean, I just what can you want me to say? It was a typical Xfinity race at Phoenix. Like I said, and congrats to Jesse Love and that team. And I mean, I really am interested in what constitutes a caution for a tire going down from NASCAR between Saturday and Sunday, and all that good stuff. And yeah, I mean, it was. I hate it for Connor. Glad he won Rookie of the Year, and I asked forward to Cup, and hopefully with Jesse Love and with that organization, that carries them through the next year, and they can come back and back it up, and prove that they are a rightful champion.
Yeah, I guess for me, I was kind of gutted because Justin Allgaier had a chance to go back to back, and with just the drive he had last year, to win his first championship, it seemed like Junior Motorsports was just off Saturday, because Justin had flashes of speed, but he didn't pull away and run away like Jesse Love did. So I don't know if they didn't keep up with the adjustments or what exactly happened, but it wasn't just like Connor missed, like both cars missed, which was wild to see. All three cars missed if you want to keep it a buck, because Carson Quabble was there too. But yeah, it's just shout out to Jesse Love. I'm glad it was him and not his teammate. And to Carl's point, hopefully with a dominant 10-win car or 10-win driver, 10-win car too, because the car did some work. Hopefully the Sheldon gets this win next year.
How relieved is Sammy Smith watching that?
Man,
as the only dude in the Junior Motorsports garage that didn't make the Final Four. Well, I mean, maybe if I gotten through, might have been a little different, or he just was like, well, at least I'll just sit there and see them celebrate.
Right.
I'm laughing because I'm reminded at how everybody's friend has the ongoing theory that Connor didn't win those races, that Connor's car won those races because Kyle Larson set it up because Connor Zilisch faked an injury. and I'm reminded of a tweet I saw from that individual, I think like Monday or Tuesday, where like they asked Jim Zilisch about Connor's plate, and he just the plate doesn't bother him at the airport. He was responding to Connor's dad because there isn't a plate. The plate doesn't exist or whatever. I don't know. I just think that's so funny that guy's committed to this bit for that long about Connor faking an injury so Kyle Larson could set up a car that magically managed to win 10 races.
It's crazy.
Anyway, so
it's nasty work.
Yeah, just a slight bit. Why does it say Joe's time is 3:30 a.m.? I'm looking at the comments, right? And so like the last comment on the live stream is 8:44 p.m. It's 9:16 p.m. Central Time. And it says Joe's is at 3:30 a.m.
Maybe he's in Hawaii.
It's not 3:30 a.m. in Hawaii. It's barely 6 o'clock in Hawaii, I think. Barely 7 o'clock in
England.
I don't know.
It might just be
time the other way.
It could just be standardizing for Greenwich Mean Time.
Yeah, whatever. I don't.
Who?
I'll explain later, guys.
And we move to Sunday. I'll go first this time. I guess for me, the excitement was in the air. Everybody did all these pre-race introductions, and they said all this stuff about Denny and Denny's family. I'm not going to elaborate further than that. And I'm like, man, just hit you in the feels. Like, oh, come on, bro. Like,
yeah, we got to talk about that.
Come on, bro. I was like, come on, dog. Like, I'll forgive you for Kansas if you just rack this up for me, baby. Just come on, baby. Just your dad said, play bumper cars and move them motherfuckers. I'm like, come on, man, please, bro. Just please do it, Denny. And he almost did. He had a really fast car. They had decent pit strategy. You saw on the first 2 races of the weekend where the first pit box didn't yield always clean exits after pit stops. And then lo and behold, wouldn't you know it, he has a clutch issue again. And I'm like throwing stuff in the house, like, here we go. Toyota about to win lights too bright for the weekend because you can't bring a good clutch out of all the high performance cars they make. You can't put a clutch in the car. And it came down to a wacky, as Peyton would say, caution. Race control was hype on the button because they finally had the opportunity to get their Game 7 moment. It was like, yes, we have it. The entertainment factor's here. We're on Big NBC. Nobody cares about the Seahawks and the Commanders. Let's get this done. And it got done. Kyle Larson wins his second championship over Denny Hamlin. Got it for Denny. Somebody posted somewhere on Twitter, thank you for doing it, but they made a graphic of all the times where Denny was in the championship four and what happened. And I feel like the most painful championship outside of this one was the Homestead one where they put too much tape on the car never cooled back down. And because his car was a rocket ship that night. And they got a little greedy with the duct tape and they couldn't do it. I wish they should let us put tape on the next gen. They should change something, put some affect some downforce in some way, shape, or form. That'll make me happy. But all in all, Cliff Daniels said something about how they never gave up, they never lost a fight, and he believed the whole time. I'm like, brother, you didn't even lead a lap. What'd you believe in?
His
Second?
voice really pisses me off.
Third? You weren't even in the fight. You weren't even in the argument. Shout out to Racing Analytics. They said had the race finished with everybody, it was optimized lap time, then it would have been a lap and a half ahead of the rest of the field, which makes it even worse that I don't know whether it was pit strategy or tires or because they got 4 wide and blocked Denny on the restart that he is not a NASCAR Cup champion as of yet. It was seen post race where obviously Denny's emotional afterwards. She sat in the car for a while and Joe Gibbs was overheard quoted saying, "Thanks for the years." So now there's question marks in regards to is Denny going to be the next JGR driver that says bump this amount, or does he come back and fulfill his 2-year contract that he got offered this year? So we'll see. Carl, you go first. Do it all.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So first of all, I gotta say, I really want to understand, I guess, the logic of, the continued mentioning of Denny's dad, because I feel like once is okay, twice is a bit much, but it came up, I feel like, more than a couple of times, and and then they pointed out like Denny's dad is at home watching, and I'm like, well, if you are privy to that information, I don't want to be reminded that I'm dying while I'm watching a national sports broadcast, on TV. Like that's a bit much, man. Come on, I mean, like, imagine you're in the hospital and over the PA they call to check and make sure you're still alive. Like, come on, man, that's a bit much. But besides that, man, what can you say about this race in this format that hadn't already been said? And I tweeted it yesterday because that was in my that's what I really felt was like Denny did everything right, man. They unloaded, they had issues in practice, they rectified those issues, he put it on the pole. I mean, lights out speed throughout. Him and Byron were a class above the 19 and the 5. The 19 certainly battled very hard, but I mean, was just not there. And I mean, you can spin it. First of all, shout out to Kyle Busch who finished to the top 5. That was great. I wish the finish was a bit more chaotic because he might have been able to sneak through and get a win, and that would have made yesterday's blow a little bit softer. Because what made it even worse is that Blaney was a spot out from transferring, and we go Martinsville. Had he transferred in, he would have been a 2-time champion, and but man, I don't know. It just was such a hollow. It's just such a hollow. It really. Some people on the timeline like akin it to Chick Hicks. I know Art's like it always comes back to cars, but it akin it to like Chick Hicks winning the title and like he's like come on, where's the celebration? Everybody's like, not celebrating.
So
Cause,
funny.
I mean, it's just like, y- y- what can you say? I mean, what can you say really? And it's like, yeah, by definition, Kyle Larson did exactly what you're supposed to do in this race. But I mean, I, I don't know. I don't know what else there is to say about it. I mean, like I said, Denny lights out pace. Kyle Larson did a lap the whole day. Um, and as far as that pit stop at the end, I can understand Gail's mindset a little bit there about the 4 versus the 2, right? I think Kyle Larson's 2 that he put on were scuffs. That's all they had left, and I think the 4 that they put on for Denny were his qualifying tires. So I think that he had if I might be mistaken, but I think that was the case. So he had a bit more life in those. And I think they felt like there was going to be another green white checkered. I said, and that's I mean, that's thinking ahead, right? I totally get it, but I still don't know that I would have went with that call. For one, and for another, I mean, it just God, and like I said, that caution went out for Byron when it didn't come out for Jeb Burton, and it feels like they wrecked around the same part of the track. I guess I don't remember. I don't know exactly where Byron wrecked at. How far away it was from the pit or whatever. But I just, man, it's just a bummer. I mean, it was one of those storybook moments, and it didn't pan out. And now we have to be relegated to all the ifs, ands, and buts about if this is a legitimate championship. Is this format legitimate? Are the playoffs legitimate? All of the kinds of things, like I said, and look, Kyle Larson's certainly talented enough to win multiple titles. I'm no fool to that, but I think this is not Kyle Larson winning a championship on talent. It's Kyle Larson winning a championship based upon being in the right place in the right time. And I mean, you can take me, stone me to death behind that statement. But yeah, man, it just sucks. It's unfortunate. And if Denny, I'm sure in the moment he was being hyperbolic about not wanting to get into a car again. But you got to think about it. I mean, this year will be 20 years in Cup. 20 years to accomplish what he has accomplished and not have a title, um, I think to me would probably be enough, because you get to a point to where it's like now you're trying too hard and now you're performing even worse. People don't really remember, but I think about 2011 Denny Hamlin a lot, right? And just kind of how they had a bit of a slump after what everybody felt was their championship to lose, and they did lose it in 2010. And I feel like we're probably looking at that again in a much worse case scenario. I'm not saying that he can't do it. I believe that he can. But I mean, it's like, how much longer are you going to keep trying before it's just like you're just not there. You just can't do it. You know what I mean? Um, I will say that the one thing the charter system has done is kind of kept a lot of young talent out of top rides, because there's not a lot of money. So it's not as bad to where where you've got all these young guys coming up and they're, like I said, I mean, beating you every week or whatever the case may be. I mean, I don't know, man. It just yesterday just sucked, and I think that um, anything besides a 36 race format at this point is just we're just going to be right back at the same spot next year. You know what I mean? And I mean, and I want to extend an olive branch to all the people that are excited about Larson winning the championship, and just say, and who feel like nothing bad happened yesterday. And I want to extend it. I mean, because that's not all Larson fans, right? I've seen a lot of people, even Kyle Larson himself on the timeline, that's like, it's cool that he won, but not like this. And I asked myself, I mean, had Denny won it, had the roles in reverse, how would I feel? And I'm like, Kyle got robbed. And that's what I want you to think. Had the roles been reversed, how would you feel about that? I think from the standpoint of it's such a and I'll stop talking in a minute. But if you had to explain what happened yesterday and how they crowned a champion to a non-fan, with how confusing and complicated that conversation has to be, I think says everything in the world about how bad this format is and how we have to go away from it. And there's just no two ways about it. I know there's some conversation about the 3-3-4. In my mind, if either do 10 races or do nothing. Let's not let's let's simplify things. We're not we keep trying to reinvent the wheel, and we're coming away with a square. Like, let's just stop altogether. So anyway, it was cool that Ryan Blaney won. I don't know how in the hell Brad Keselowski managed to give that away right there at the end. That is one of the most insane losses I've seen at Phoenix since probably I want to say since Carl Edwards managed to not move Kevin Harvick out of the way. God, almost 10 years ago. I think it was 2016. I think when he went anyway. But yeah, I mean, so but the racing itself seemed okay at times. And I'm looking forward to coming back to this track with 750 next year, and maybe it'll be a bit better. But yeah, I mean, yesterday sucked. There's no two ways to put it. I'm sorry, and then and you can all day long. Well, Kyle technically was the champion because and it's like, okay, well, even in that conversation, you're still saying this format is not good, right? Because if you're saying that, well, Kyle Larson scored the most points throughout the playoffs, and he didn't win the championship yesterday, and Denny Hamlin won it, then you're still admitting that the system is bad and needs to be reworked and done away with. So you're not you presenting that information to me isn't proving anything, and it isn't justifying what happened yesterday. It's only presenting the exact same argument with a different disguise. I mean, so anyway, yeah, I mean that sucks, and I just it feels like, and maybe I don't know, but I feel like NASCAR is really riding a high horse on this because they have been posting a lot about it today. And I don't feel like they celebrated Logano and Blaney's title as much as they ever celebrated this one. But maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. So anyway, that's my take on it.
Maybe they're trying to counterbalance all of the disparaging comments that everybody has to say about.
I am sure that they are well aware.
The machine is hard at work.
Yeah.
All right, Peyton. Peyton's gonna, in case you haven't been listening to our episodes the last 3 months, Peyton's gonna go off in left field, but I feel like it's gonna be the right.
Yeah. I mean,
you picked them to win.
I did pick him to win, and I think that I was telling Jarrett before the show that I've got this uncanny ability to, if I've got no rooting interest, which in this one I didn't really have much of a rooting interest, to at least develop some sort of urgency or feeling of sadness for whoever doesn't win, because that's who I end up picking or really wanted to see win. So, for instance, in this World Series, absolutely really made sad for the Blue Jays that they didn't get a chance to win in a heartbreaking way, and that that made me feel awful. This just didn't feel anything. It didn't feel exciting. It didn't feel just. It didn't feel accurate of who the best driver was. I would say the biggest thing that helps with this, and I mentioned it on, or at least in the notes that I left for you all regarding who was likely to win this, it didn't feel like among the four that there was a runaway, like, oh yeah, well, this person's been the best driver all season. I think in the Cup Series, we've seen decent parity. Denny Hamlin's been exceptional. I mean, he's got 6 wins on the year. Christopher Bell had a very, very hot start to the year. Kyle Larson has been fine. Actually, he's been quite good, but it seems like he's been really quiet. Everyone's noted he's been really quiet since about April. So it was sort of a mishmash of who you thought might take it. But once the race actually started, Denny Hamlin by far and away had the best car. He was controlling the race. That car was just wicked fast. I remember there was one phase of it where they decided, hey, let's just go and open up a lead. And he gets out a 3-second gap, and you expected him for that to diminish as the tires were on. It never really did. And the whole time, with the number of tire failures, you were just nervous. Anytime it got to more than about 25 laps in, that something's, goofy, zany, stupid was going to happen. But I really felt after that last set of stops that we were in the clear. But it's just one of those deals. Anytime that there's things feel really, really assured in this sport, a dumb caution happens. And I mean, hey, everyone been blowing tires. I get it. But in one of the chats we're in, someone asked, are we still on board with the green white checker? I don't know. I can't. It feels like 95% of the time when we have a green white checker finish, the finish we were going to have before the green white checker came out was going to be satisfactory. It was going to be entertaining. It was going to be interesting and all of that. Some exceptions, I believe the Atlanta race in 2024 and I believe last year's Atlanta finish, I believe that might have come off of green white check or at least a late green flag restart. So there are some exceptions, but overall, I don't know. I just don't know if a whole lot good comes out of it. I'll say this: a lot of people are comparing it to. I gotta go left field here. I've seen a lot of people saying, "Hey, is this like Abu Dhabi 2021 in the Formula One World Championship, where Lewis Hamilton built up a big lead, late race safety car comes out and Lewis ends up losing it." Reason why this is not like that. This is the way NASCAR's just legislated this sport to be. They just said, "Hey, this sport's going to be really, really goofy," and hey, the whole advantage you've built up, we're going to assure that is gone because we got to put on a show, and our fans demand that there be some calamity, that it go 7 wide. I mean, well, heck, that's what we got in the truck race, and everyone loves it. We got 7 wide to win the race. That's what we want. And so NASCAR says we're going to feed that to you. We don't care if it delegitimizes. We don't care if it makes it feel less legitimate. We don't care. We are here only for the show, and it shows in the ratings, which will continue to go down. So this is what NASCAR deserves. I'm happy for them. I hope everyone out there, they sit there and they look at this weekend's ratings, and I bet you it's going to be down. And I hope they're proud of themselves because this is stupid. The more I think about it, it's one of the things I hate about racing, period, is just how everything can be reset and everything you did is just thrown away. And then that NASCAR has the gall to just legislate these sort of finishes into their sport is just goofy. At least in F1, it was generally the race stewards going outside of standard operating practices by rushing the cars that were between the leader and second place and then forcing that race to get restarted when that race should have finished under caution, or they should have left the lap cars where they were. So that was FIA or Formula One going outside of their usual operation rules. So that was some BS from the sanctioning body. Nope, this is just what NASCAR wants. And so congratulations, NASCAR. Kyle Larson winning. Yeah, no, he's super fun. I wish I will never publicly admit to being a fan of his, but privately, I enjoy watching the man race. He did not have a great car this weekend. I would say of the 4 cars out there, he was probably, his car is actually probably worse than the 19. So, yeah, he was probably the least deserving among those 4, but hey. You want to talk about where do we go from here? I don't want to get my hopes up for any sort of season-long points. That's what I think the sport deserves and what it needs. I don't care if the ratings continue to go down. If you're going to go down, at least go down doing the right things. I think someone might have said on another podcast, it's never too late to start doing the right thing, even if it's still going to be terminal for you. Who cares? At least go out having done it the right way. I have now softened myself up to at least accept a 10-race chase, because at least then you get guys pushing hard for the last 10 races of the season or whatever. But I'm like Carl, I don't want a playoff elimination style. I know there's those in the media who still want it and everything. This sport is just too damn random for it.
Precisely, yeah.
It's just too random. And I'll say one last thing, and I'll go and shut up. People talk about Game 7 moments. Here's the thing you got to remember. Here's the thing you got to remember about a Game 7 moment. You've arrived at a Game 7 because it is too close to call. Each team has won 3 games. That's a big sample for just about any sport. You have had 3 games and it's still close. At that point, it's like a coin flip. It deserves a sudden death game. In this race or in this postseason, you can't sit here and tell me that the parity level or that the quad level of all 4 drivers in these Game 7 moments are of equal skill or of equal deserve it more than all the same. No, there's a clear stratification there. Like Connor Zilisch was leagues ahead of his competition in the 4-race series before, so it shouldn't have come to a Game 7. That's the thing. You can't manufacture a Game 7. It's something that happens when it is a coin flip between 2 teams that performed equally well. And when you force it to say, hey, you've got 4 drivers and all of them now equal, it just doesn't work that way. It's just something that's very frustrating that they've just forced this. And what surprised me is it's taken it this long to get this loud. And I think they may really regret even opening up the opportunity of them changing this format, because the noise has gotten so loud that it's just ruined it's kind of ruined this entire postseason. Once they dangle the prospect of 36, like this is all killed. And if they don't change it, then I'll still watch. But this sport's kind of a joke.
I don't think they're going to go to 36, because I think if the decision was that cut and dry, they would have already, like, there would not be there wouldn't be any sort of rumor or murmurings about like any sort of additional like modifications to the current system or anything like that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jared, but I mean, we can hold out hope, but I think that if going to 36 is the easiest solution, and I think if that was the case, if that's what they were going to do, there wouldn't be any sort of ruminations about them potentially like modifying fun under 4 races or whatever the case may be or anything like that. I mean, it's annoying, like I said, and maybe a 4-round finale is a better move. Who knows? But I think now, I think everybody just doesn't want the plows, period. I don't think in any format. It's just like, look, whoever is the best out of 36 is who's ever the best out of 36, because Peyton, to your example of like a Game 7 moment, Saturday, for example, right, would have been like if Toronto had won 3 straight games, because the best it's whoever gets to 4, right? Toronto had won 3 straight games, right, and as they go to and they're down and they're they go into the 4th game. They've won 3 straight. They go into the 4th game, and for whatever, I guess, because they lose by,
they say next game wins it all.
Yeah, exactly. They say because LA wins by a significant amount of runs in the 4th game, then now they were World Series champions. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the equivalent. I mean, it's insane. It's like, because and to make it even crazier, a Game 7 moment is between 2 teams, not even between 4. It's between 2 teams, and it is maddening to all of the people inside of the sport who have spent a decade or more inside of the sport to use that terminology. And it's like, we don't need a Game 7 moment. Formula One, who everybody has loved ragging on post 2021 because these new cars are boats, is probably going to go to the end of the last race of the year again to decide the title. They didn't need it. Happened organically. They didn't need anything for it to happen. So
it's beautiful.
Therein lies the proof. The proof is in the pudding that you can have these organic last race, last lap moments without having to have them to shift the framework. I don't know. It's just maddening. Anyway, all right, go, Jared. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I just in a perfect world, what I would want is a 10 race chase, and they get rid of they still award stage points, but they get rid of stage cautions, because I feel like that sometimes messes with pit strategy. I feel like the true crew chiefs begin off a little easy, knowing that we only have to race to this point and then we can do something about it. I want chaos. I want organized chaos.
May I ask you a question, Jarrett?
You can answer me a question, Peyton.
All right. Why a 10 race chase? What do you think it would bring to the table that we would not have in a 36 race season? And I'm asking this legitimately because I think I mentioned on the show, I did not watch NASCAR very much when I was in college. I watched it when I was growing up, stopped
Right.
for about 4 or 5 years, and a lot of that coincided with the Jimmy Johnson years. I just didn't watch, got back into it in the early 2010s. But what about the 10 race do you think would work better than a 36?
I feel like I just think of my time as a fan during that moment, and everybody joked about how Corey Haim and Connor Zilisch were like Thanos, like they were inevitable. Motherfucker, you should have seen Jimmy Johnson when it was chase time. We talking about somebody inevitable, like you knew it was going to happen. I don't know what Child Canals had written in that book, but he didn't become a 7-time champion by accident. And it doesn't matter like what the track layout was, or if they moved the tracks around in the chase. Like belt to ass was happening, and belt to ass was given. And I just think with all of the changes they're making next year to the car, like they're giving it more power. Chevrolet's going to have a new body. We don't know what they're going to do with the tires and anything like that. I just feel like if you're gonna send it, if you want to get your ratings back and to bring fans back and just to have people, more organic conversations about the sport rather this structured, the playoff system that we have currently, go nuts. I feel like a 10 race championship will probably be more legitimate because you get to get somebody's total body of work. Take for instance Bubba. Bubba had 8.5 DNFs this year. He got one yesterday. He came back into the race, but ultimately pulled over because he couldn't get the cardiac race. So I say 8.5. But if you think of the season that he had with the DNFs that he currently has, and then think about what a season would be with 3, and just think with the performance of the team where they would be in regards to the the championship, he'd have a fighting chance. Like his mulligan would have been Kansas, or like he had a top 5 and that would have hurt him or eliminated him. He could have kept going and had an opportunity for a spot of the championship going into Phoenix. Well, I guess Homestead next year. So I just feel like it gives drivers who have been consistent all year and have the opportunity to get hot for the last 10. And as we spoke about countless times, the playoff schedule worked really well for the 23 had he had an opportunity to be there. And I think I want more moments like that, because if there's a case where the teams win the lawsuit and you have Bubba's back, Tyler's back, Riley's back, and then we can afford Corey Haim full time. Welcome to the 67. And you have I wouldn't say it's parity, because they're a strong powerhouse Toyota team, but it just brings more players into the game, and I think that's what the sport needs. There's a good conversation in the group chat earlier about how sponsors don't let drivers be their authentic selves, and I feel like if there's more interviews about 10 people as opposed to 4 people, or as opposed to 8 people, you get a better opportunity to learn about them and hear about them and hear from them and hear their takes and opinions. And I feel that's all for the growth and the betterment of the sport too. So I think we should go to a chase. I don't think a Winston Cup style thing is good enough for this car. The car doesn't deserve a full season point system. They can get 10.
This car has a lot of parity among the powerhouse teams. Could bang. My biggest thing with 36, we've seen the chase. There's a reason why they moved on from it. Well, the reason may also be the same reason they can't discuss certain things in the court case. A certain leader of NASCAR might have liked to do some extracurricular enhancements to affect his judgment. Anywho, I just say bring it back 36 because you mentioned your peak NASCAR was Jimmy Johnson, all of that. For me, my peak was, in the late 90s and just a natural system. And I just genuinely think that with this car, I mean, it's been so long since we've seen more than 7 or 8 wins in a season. Well, I believe what was it? Kyle Larson. Who's the last? When's the last time we've seen 10 wins in a season? Because I don't even think Kevin Harvick's 20.
I think it would have. Was it not 2021?
It was Harvick, wasn't
it? He had 9. And that's
Okay.
one of the biggest injustices. Well, okay, so there are some big injustices that year in other areas, but anywho, that was a terrible thing that happened in the 2000 season. But I don't know. I would just say, hey, we've tried the chase. There's a reason why I moved on from it. It's been a really long time since we've done a full 36. I would just like to see it happen, but I don't think it's going to happen.
The fans, but the fans want it, right? And I know Art's not here, but I think in my mind this is a marketing home run for them. You advertise, we're going back to 36, we're going back to 750. I think you can build a campaign around that. I mean, and but here's my question about the 36 conversation. What do they do about stage points if we go back to 36? Do you just keep that in? Because isn't the whole reason for stages and stage points to complement the playoffs as they stand now?
I would keep them. I agree with Jared. I like the stage points. I kind of like the stage breaks too, but mainly because it oftentimes bails out my favorite driver. If they've gotten off to a crappy start, you just throw in a assured caution so they stay on the lead lap. I would say you keep it, but yeah, it would be an interesting dynamic or wrinkle, but I also agree. Yeah, they could market this. So, I mean, look at what Ram is doing with we got it wrong. We're bringing back the Hemi and we're an American, we're an American sport. And I mean, that resonates with people though.
Yeah, no, it does. Unfortunately, it really does. Well, I say unfortunately. I mean, it does. The Ram commercials are just driving me insane. So that's why I said that. So.
You hear that? That's a Hemi, and it's saying I'm back.
And you can't even buy one you can order one until next year.
And
I called to check.
Economy than the inline 6, and
yeah,
I don't know if it tows any better. I think it just creates more noise and
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So
very good. Quick touch on 2311 at corner. Riley finished 23rd. Tyler Reddick finished 26th. The Fries finished 37th. Season recap, season review, all good things coming out of 2311 camp. Shout out to Bubba for being the stalwart in airspeed. Hopefully there's a favorable outcome where we get to see 2311 race for 26 and get ready for 27, and that 26 is not the bon voyage season for them. Ultimately, I truly honestly would. I want to see Corey get some more seat time in the Cup car. Just after the move he pulled Friday to win his championship and grab what was his, it puts even more eyes on him in regards to potentials for a seat somewhere in the Toyota development room. So I know they don't want to lose him. They're gonna have to make room for him, and I think that the lawsuit's gonna help with that. Art seems convicted that Bubba's gonna win the 500 come February. So we'll see how that lines up. But did either two of you want to add anything in regards to the season performance for 2311?
So I don't really care about the other two cars. I'm glad they're there. I'm just going to talk about Bubba Wallace. Weird season. The win was fantastic. I appreciate that there were at least, let's call it 2 other races where he was in contention with single-digit laps to go. So that's an improvement from previous years. They've got to figure out the DNFs. 21 lead lap finishes, if I'm looking here correctly. Let me just get that from yes. So started 36 races, finished on the lead lap 21 times, 14 top 10s. So you can sort of do the math there. Essentially, there was another 7 times that he actually just had a mediocre day, and then the rest, the other times was just boo-boo. They've got to get that figured out. I mean, luckily with we keep going back to the point system. It doesn't matter. Hey, they got their win, so it all became good, and they had a decent first round and everything. But man, they could have been a whole different planet if you half those, and you just give them 4 more top 10s and another top 5, and you get rid of some of those. We may be having a different conversation, and if the next format rewards consistency more, then this ain't going to fly. So it's just a weird season because performance-wise, I would say in contention for more races than we've ever seen. And I feel like he drove well. I feel like the team meshed well, but yeah, they've got to figure out what's happened there.
Carl?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I felt like the 23 and 45 had really exceptional pace this year. I just feel like as an organization, they really struggle with execution at times. It felt like, I mean, the 23 definitely better than years past, and I think mainly both cars just kind of suffered from being a victim of somebody else's stuff. I don't know what the DNFs are for the 45. I know that the 23 is, I think, at 8 or 9, like you guys keep saying, and um, but I definitely, after I definitely had to think of like who is the best of the rest as far as like organizations that are not Gibbs, Hendrick, and Penske, and it absolutely is 23XI. And I feel like both cars have been there a number of times this year. The 45 it's so strange because I feel like they've been sort of the inverse of years past where they normally, kind of are really in contention at the end of these races and not, from lights out at the beginning. But I feel like this year the 45 had situations where they were lights out at the beginning, very good, and then they just kind of faded away as the day went on. So, I mean, hey, look, I love the win and the duel, and I love the Indy win for sure, and those mean a lot. But at the end of the day, I feel like they left a lot on the table, that's a good thing. I think every year we are having this conversation, and that team's getting better and better, and for sure. And the 45 kind of a little bit of a step back from being a championship 4 team last year, but I still think they're a championship caliber team, and I think the 23 is definitely getting there. I look at yesterday was not good, Martinsville was not good, and so that late race sort of whatever that they have affected needs to get cleaned up. But I mean, had a couple things gone different, they could have definitely made a deep playoff appearance, and that's exciting. I know the 45 can. So, just really hopeful that they figured out this court stuff and it helps propel that entire organization forward. And gives them that boost. I think that maybe there is a bit of fatigue that's been in that organization all year that I think is as those drivers have carried with them, and I'm sure probably at FRM too, but those guys don't run up at the front nearly as much as 23 and 45 do for it to matter. So, or for us to notice it. So, and maybe they do. I mean, I know Todd Gilliland ran like top 10 the other day or whatever, and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I mean, a little disappointing considered for this year, considering where they were at last year. But I think next year for the entire organization is going to be great. I'm interested to see what direction the 35 goes. I don't know what that deal is like. There has not been a clear explanation on their charter for the 35 car. From what I understand, it is owned by the Herbst family. But I have not seen that in the form of a Pockers tweet. So I don't know if that's actually accurate. Well, people have told me that work in the sport is that is a Herbst owned charter, but that doesn't mean that that's true. When I say work in the sport, our sport adjacent. And I don't know how long that deal is for, but I got to tell you, man, that car they can run that as an open car with Corey in it, I think, and run better than how Riley has run this year. And I don't mean to be hateful. I don't mean to, well, whatever you want to call it, but I do not think Riley Herbst has the making of a varsity athlete, to quote The Sopranos. So, I think that he probably needs to go have a conversation with somebody, maybe RCR, the Xfinity side of things. Maybe take the seat for Austin Hill when he goes to Cup, or I don't know, but he does not need to be in the 35. Somebody else needs to be in that car. So. But if he has a charter, then it's out of the conversation. So, but besides that, I mean, great year, and just hopeful next year. Next year, what I want to see, 45 back to winning form. And the 23, I want them to win again, and I want us to finally knock off. This year we knocked off, I think a pole and a win before the playoffs. Next year, I want them to knock off multiple wins in the season. Hopefully, one before the playoff and one in. So, if we have playoffs next year, so. But that'll be it for me as far as that stuff goes.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the lights were too bright.
Lights too bright. Thank you, Connor, for this evergreen introduction for Lights Too Bright for as long as we have the show.
Hell, I forgot about that.
For giving me that clip. Appreciate you, big dog. My Lights Too Bright goes to Fox Sports and the entire broadcast team that does the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. How dare you have remote broadcast for the season-ending race? How dare you? I understand it's in Phoenix, Arizona. I know you don't want to fly to go there, but how dare you? It's so strange seeing people commentate at the same time I notice stuff on my TV, and sometimes being a touch late saying the things that I see on my TV. I just think it's gross. Like, I appreciate you carrying the series all year, but if I'm going ooh like Leonardo DiCaprio before you hit the button on the mic to call it out to me, we have a problem. So hopefully next year there's some funding found where Fox can actually send their commentators in person to the races, because the only people that doesn't make it gross is CW, and even sometimes it's gross that they showed up for half the season, but they didn't make it seem like it was an Achilles heel of sorts. So, Lights Too Bright to Fox, and stop showing them damn kids on TV. Peyton, who's your Lights Too Bright?
So much of me wants to say Connor Zilic. He didn't step up when the moment mattered. Come on, it's Game 7. Gotta perform. No, the actual Lights Too Bright.
Please.
No, the actual Lights Too Bright was Brad Keselowski. I legitimately thought he might have had a car issue.
No, absolutely, bro.
Cash Patel, arrest this man.
He was so far ahead. Like, that was, he had a huge gap, and I saw he wrote up. He did a very nice, listen, you get Brad Keselowski talking about racing, I will sit there, crisscross applesauce on the floor and just listen to him all day, because he is fantastic at that. When he starts going off topic a little bit, then I'm like, I'm gonna go over here. But anywho, he gives a breakdown of how things went over the course of the season. Fantastic if you can track that down on Twitter. And he explained that he was expecting, I guess, to get a shot from the rear from either the 12 or the 5, and apparently he just misjudged that. And then when he tried to get back to the gas, he was just spinning the tires. Still, it reminded me of Bubba at Talladega when he lost his help. I legitimately thought, like, oh my God, is there a car issue? It's just like he just hit the brakes. It just looked like he just lost an engine. Woof. I mean, luckily it doesn't matter, because I didn't even realize that the 12 had won until I came into the group chat about 3 minutes after and said, like, hey, who won that, by the way? So if you ever need to commit a crime, go win the final Cup Series race and not be the champion, because no one will even know that you were there.
Yeah, no, real stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, better than witness protection. You will just be gone.
Carl.
Well, that's too right, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have one, man. We've already spoken all our pieces about it. Yeah, Jesus. I guess I guess what I want to say is Chris Gale's low hanging fruit, so I'll do one better and go Scott Zipadelli, who um, had a life's too bright moment that was almost so severe that even though it didn't happen, he still gets it because I mean, like I said, four tires, somebody else is taking two. You put your driver way back in traffic, and then to be smug, oh, we had a plan. No, you didn't. You made the wrong call. And sometimes crew chiefs bail you out, and sometimes drivers bail crew chiefs out. And luckily, your driver is him, and he bailed you out of a very bad call. And then you were, kind of smug faced about it. Well, hey, man. So, no, yeah, that's my life's too bright.
Fair, very fair, and
Yeah.
we already talked about truck finish, but fair. I like that. Well then, do we have anything for open mic?
Yeah, I guess I can go ahead and we can reveal.
Yes. Do it.
Yeah, we can
It's
reveal
time for the
the
puzzlers to finally be puzzled.
Yeah, the puzzlers to finally be puzzled. We essentially had three people in the running. We had Connor, Joe, and April. And then Connor and Joe were at 5 apiece. I had wrongly scored Connor at 1, so they were tied, and April was at 4. We posted the puzzler last week, where I had a series of numbers that were the added sums of drivers' numbers over the course of their careers. And just to go through the answers real quick, so the first number I had on this list was 66, which was Bubba Wallace, 43 and 23. Everybody got that right. The second number I had was 200. That was Michael McDowell, 95, 34, 71. Everybody got that right. The third number I had was 142, which was 13, 42, 77, and 10, which was Ty Dillon.
Hey, what the fuck?
What?
Keep going.
Yeah. Because I mean he ran the 32, the 13, and then he's in the 42 for legacy. He's in the 77, and then he's in the 10. So that's and then I had 166, which the answer for that was Alex Bowman for the 23, the 7, the 88, the 48. Which, just real quick, isn't it crazy that at 2 points in NASCAR's history within about 10 years of each other, a number 23 Dr. Pepper Toyota Camry was on track for two entirely different operations? Anyway, and so everybody got that one right. I had the number 140, which was the grandson of Eric Jones's full-time numbers, 77, 20, and 43. Everyone got that right. Actually, hold on. No, I'm looking at this the wrong way. I'm sorry. I got to go back.
He made y'all work for this.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And I said everybody got that right. I'm actually looking at one person's answers going down the thing. So, and then the last one I had was the number was 168. It was 2 extra points. And the number for 168 was Ross Chastain, which this was not the cumulative number for his entire career, but also his part-time numbers, which were the that he made starts in or whatever. That it was the 6, God damn it, the 6, 15, 27, and the 77, along with the 42 and the 1. But somebody corrected me on that and said that he actually also ran the 7-4 race. I did not know that. So with that being the case, actually, I'm looking at this wrong. I have to look at it a different way because I don't have the actual who got what right and wrong here on this because Google Forms is weird. In any case, it came down to 1 point between Connor and Joe, and that 1 point was the bonus question, which Connor got right. It was Ross Chastain that I was thinking of. So Connor is the winner of the NASCAR 25 copy. So I'll be reaching out to him after this long ass deal. But yeah, to go through it, because I have to let me look at it individually to tell everybody what the three, what they got right and wrong. So Connor, you got the Bubba question correct. Michael McDowell, you got correct. The Ty Dillon one, you got correct. Alex Bowman one, you got correct. Eric Jones, you got correct. And the Ross Chastain one, you got correct. But I'm only going to give it a point just because I didn't exactly list the right answer, and neither did you. So we're just gonna leave that there. So you brought away 6 points total with that. And then April, you got Bubba, Michael, and unfortunately the Ty Dillon one you got wrong, as well as the Eric Jones one you also got wrong, and you didn't get the bonus question either. So.
Damn, bro,
And then
he acting like a 5th grade teacher, just out here.
I mean,
getting
well, people answered. I'm in the name of transparency, and then Joe did not get the bonus question, and then also, yeah, that was it. He didn't get the bonus question. That was it. So,
I feel like for Connor, it would have been just more effective just to go get it like a second job and just go work for a week and then quit.
I swear, bro. Like, go back some groceries.
This is the hardest. This is the hardest $60 they ever had to scrap.
They're geniuses. They're geniuses. They figured. I was sure. I was certain nobody was going to get the bonus.
Carl made this hard so nobody could get it. So he
had to pay out.
For what it's worth, I will say this. And Joe, don't worry. We're gonna talk because you participated in this greatly, and I appreciate that. We'll talk separately. Don't worry about it. But
consolation prizes and shit.
Yeah, no. Joe's a great friend of the show, and he really helped promote this and push this forward. So I appreciate him. So we'll talk. But what I will say is that some of the answers were a little too on the nose for some of the puzzlers, and I feel like, and I'm just gonna say this because me and Peyton joked about it being car talk. I feel like some people went to Google. I got the answers off of Google, but it's okay. I opened myself up to this, and I will admit,
how was the people supposed to answer the questions?
Well, because
off of wheel knowledge.
Yes, not wheel knowledge, but I mean just off of figuring it out. That's why it's a puzzler. And my girlfriend, who is an educator, pulled me to the side, and she was like, "Did you really copy and paste these from another source?" Yeah, why? She said, "Because they're going to do the exact same thing that you just did." So I set myself for failure on that. Yeah, she gave me a crash course in Google Forms, which of course I did not. I'm still learning. So anyway, so congrats to Connor. We'll get you set up. And then, like I said, also, yeah, I know. Yeah, Joe, I know it was hard, man. I wanted to make everybody work for it. It's coming out of my pocket. So anyway, no. Yeah, no, Joe, we'll talk. And yeah, good win, Connor. You guys did great to the end. And hopefully, maybe during the holidays we can do another giveaway or something like that. So anyway,
so I guess the next thing I intend on giving away
is the naming rights of this show.
The naming rights of the show get awarded after we reach 2,000 followers. When I sell this Twitter account,
we are selling this to an account in Jamaica, and they can do whatever they want to do.
Selling this unpaid intern, you won the first giveaway, bro. Come on, circle back now. You hear? I got a proposition for you. But yeah, I figured when we get 2,000 followers, we'll give away some more sheet metal. The interwebs love free metal, so we'll work on that in the off season. Depending upon how fast y'all do it, depends upon how quick my closet gets cleaned out. But it'll go to a nice home.
Yeah, I got a die cast I can probably kick in there because I'm getting rid of my collection. So
been saying every 3 years.
Yeah.
There we are.
Do what?
Nothing.
Oh, hey, well, whatever.
But thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. We are legitimately taking a solid month off. The report card episodes are probably going to come to you after the Thanksgiving holiday. Everybody be safe, be warm. Look out for art in front of the Charlotte courtrooms in December when 2011 Front Row go to trial with NASCAR. Look out. We're going to get him a nice navy blue suit with an orange Victory Lane vibes tie. You won't be able to miss him. We'll get some Cavalier mics and stuff. He'll be set up to answer questions on the,
And
on the steps.
and above all else, be kind in this season. The world needs kindness.
The world needs kindness.
The world needs kindness. So
Please
be kind.
forgive other NASCAR shilling media members for their thoughts and takes, for they not know what they say.
Oh boy, we could have had a whole other episode about. Oh boy,
Don't worry, I got it. They cut, baby. That's coming in off season. We got to get these. We got to get these jokes off.
Man.
But thank y'all for rocking with us. The season 3 of Victory Lane Vibes. I don't think we're gonna sell this. I think we'll be back in February.
We're not gonna sell. We can't get rid of it.
We can't get rid of it. We will leave art in China though.
We're in a podcast recession. Hell, nobody want to give us some money now anyway.
Bro, we cut. Tell your mammy, say your Grammys, like, comment, subscribe. This will be out probably tomorrow. We'll do some editing. I think I know how to do it. I'll make it work for y'all. But we catch y'all in December.
All these damn Ponzi scheme ass other podcasts popping up. Got money all of a sudden.
Started from the bottom now.
Started at the bottom. Now we're nowhere. What the hell's going on here?
It's all good though. We broke, but we make it happen for the listeners. You know what I'm saying? We do it for y'all out here spending these checks. We ain't got no SNAP benefits over here. You know what I'm saying? It's all legit. Anywho, good night, everyone. Peace be the journey. We'll see you in December. Set an outro video. Y'all want an outro video? No.